side is getting his robotic support, so he's going to try to do some sort of harassment. Well, not really some sort, it's pretty obvious. What kind of harassment? Engineer Bay, meanwhile, now being put down by NaDa, so he's going to have some turrets there to try to stave off any sort of harassment. Probe moving out, he's still going to get taken down by the Vulture and tank and Marines. Not doing a good job of putting a barracks at the position, try to block, make the entrance to his base, to his natural, a little bit smaller. JangBi still just mass-producing Dragoons off of 2 gateways. Army now coming up for NaDa, so he's going to get some Goliaths out there fairly soon, I'm assuming, and also going to be able to get some upgrades soon. So I'm assuming we're going to see just a Vulture, Goliath, tank army from NaDa, and soon enough there is now a shuttle out there from JangBi, so we're going to have a Reaver out there fairly soon. He's going to try to do some harassment. This is going to come down to this. If his harassment is completely unsuccessful, then he's going to fall behind economically, because NaDa already has his natural expansion coming up, and JangBi does not at this point. And NaDa's done a good job, meanwhile, moving out with Vultures everywhere and planting out mines. Reaver now is out. And if this harassment is, however, successful, there are also Zealots in that shuttle, a couple. If this harassment is very successful, then NaDa's going to be really in trouble. He's now blocking off his natural fairway. He has a turret there, and several tanks, turrets now being built in other locations, also more factories being added in, and JangBi now also getting his natural. So if he manages to do a lot of economic damage, he will definitely get himself a very good economic position. Starport now also being put up by JangBi there. But NaDa, I'm sorry, now there are turrets in several locations. I'm not quite sure of the location to catch that shuttle. Just going to all come down to how JangBi manages to micro that. There are some turrets, but there could be actually enough space for that shuttle to fly by. It is probably going to be met by at least some turret fire. There are turrets in space. Oh no, there are turrets in the perfect location to both of them shoot at that shuttle if it tries to move in between. Pretty good positioning there by NaDa, so that shuttle is going to stay outside a bit. Meanwhile, now NaDa has had plenty of time to move out, putting a siege tank in location. He also has some Dragoons blocking off his own natural, and his own expansion will soon be put down. So NaDa doing a very good job very early on, preventing all this harassment. Now an observer moving in from JangBi, just spotting out those mines and going to try to get a scout going. Also has to be very careful though. There are turrets in location ready to take out that turret, and that shuttle just sitting outside, not going to do anything. Dragoons though moving out at this 3 o'clock location, going to take out this Vulture that was sitting there. Vulture apparently out of mines, not going to be able to plant a mine to try to take out those Dragoons. Not in a pretty good position actually so far. He has a couple of factories producing some tanks, producing some stuff. Most likely getting Vulture speed since his machine shops are spinning. I'm not quite sure if he has anything for Goliaths yet at this point. Now adding another Commencer, so he's apparently thinking of taking his mineral only as well. Going to try to get decent economic damage. Has his starport going. Don't think I see a science facility from him so far. Probably doesn't have the upgrades. To need a robotics. a science facility at this point. And NaDa's still just sitting pretty at his base. Has 3 siege tanks, several Marines there, Vultures and mines. Definitely going to prevent JangBi from doing any sort of pressure. Adding more factories. Just getting an overall pretty good position. Has that starport there in location. And the dropship now, so he's going to try to go for some drops. And of course, if he's successful with his counter harassment, I assume he's going to just put a bunch of Vultures in that. If he's successful with counter harassment, he's going to be able to do a lot. JangBi on the other side is expanding again at the 3 o'clock. And also adding 3 more gateways. He's going to go 5 gate at this point. Start producing a bunch of troops, and soon enough he will probably be ready to go to Arbiters. And NaDa is now going to move out with that dropship. If that harassment is successful, it'll be pretty good. Help him out because JangBi is getting his 3rd expansion earlier than NaDa, and he's going to get a gas expansion while NaDa is going to stick with it mineral only. JangBi now possibly thinking of moving in, but there are, I think, enough tanks in position for NaDa to prevent that move in. And now NaDa is actually going to be able to get those Vultures inside that base. There's nothing to defend. This harassment might actually be very successful. All those Vultures now going to run and going to be able to take out how many probes? All those probes being pulled off the line. Dragoons moving out. Mines being planted everywhere. Several probe kills. And if not killing a bunch of probes, it's definitely preventing a lot of mining. Those Dragoons. There are observers in place, though, so this mine's not going to be able to kill any Dragoons. But overall, pretty decent harassment there by NaDa. He gets out there, doesn't lose a single Vulture, I believe, prevents her mining, kills several probes, stops mining for quite a while, still has 1 Vulture inside there, planting some mines, just being irritating. He was going to lose that Vulture, but overall just decided to keep it there for good reasons to keep on harassment. Now his weapons 1 going as well, so that's going to help him out all in all. JangBi now being forced to move some of his forces back. He's not going to be able to prevent anything. The Vulture now not going to be able to do any harassment while with that. Citadel of Adun ready, and he's meanwhile going to put down a dropship. Oh, no, not going to happen. All the pros being pulled up the line well in ahead of time, and now the dropship trying to drop onto a location, but the Dragoon's there, and the dropship is going to die, but Vultures do get dropped. We're going to see how many probes they actually managed to get. I'm not seeing any probe kills. Apparently those Vultures targeted the Dragoons, which I think was actually not the best idea. There was no way in hell they were actually going to kill any of those Dragoons. But now NaDa has set up an even more forward position, now taking his mineral only and putting his tanks in a pretty good line. Now he has his science facility up, so he's going to be able to get more upgrades. I'm not quite sure if he has 2 armories at this point or not. You're also adding more factories. He's going to be able to get more Vultures out there. He's going to have to plant a lot more mines if he's going to try to push out. Going to have to set up a forward position. So I believe at this point, as soon as he has this mineral only now ready mining, NaDa might be thinking of a slow push. And I think this is pretty good timing for that. Their Temple Archives now coming up for JangBi. Meanwhile, he's going to have those storms ready. He's going to have those high tempo with storms ready. Meanwhile, oh, some harassment going off of the Reaver on the mineral only by JangBi. Not too successful. No SCVs dying. The Vultures are there in position to plant mines. But overall, JangBi putting on pretty good pressure. There is a missile turret there as well. Going to take out, no, not quite taking out the Observer. Tanks in position to siege. So JangBi been forced to move out. Not managing to do any sort of harassment from what I've seen. I don't think he actually managed to kill anything. Vultures again running by with speed. Just a couple of moves in their lives. JangBi now getting his mineral only as well, so he's definitely trying to get it economically ahead. I think he actually is at this point, now getting his target as well, so we're going to have Arbiter play fairly soon for him, also getting Forge, so he's going to get upgrades. This is what NaDa has over JangBi at this point, is the upgrades. I see this a lot, that protoss get their upgrades fairly late compared to the Terran, and this gives them a advantage at one point in the game, and if NaDa can keep his upgrades going, even if he has a slightly smaller army, I think he should be able to take this. Now putting down another command center, apparently thinking of taking down the 6 o'clock location to equalize the economic situation for himself, because JangBi now has been mining fairly decently for a fairly long while. Now putting down a cannon to prevent, and he has the blocked off that 3 o'clock location. The Vulture's not going to be able to get by, especially with that cannon there. And JangBi just doing a pretty good job overall to prevent harassment. There was that early harassment from NaDa, but overall nothing too permanent was done with those harassments. NaDa did lose a dropship, although I think he definitely will take it with everything he got. Got only 1 armory so far. I'm not quite sure didn't quite see if it was blinking or not. Meanwhile, now a shuttle again moving out in this location. I'm going to see what it tries to do, some sort of harassment again. I'm not quite sure how successful it's going to be. It's not going to fly in. There is a turret there. Zealot moving in. Going to get a bunch of tank shots on it. Oh, nice. Using his own Zealot, targeting his own Zealot to take out the turret. And instantly going to move in now with that Reaver. Going to see what he manages to do. There are tanks in position. And we're going to see, no, JangBi's not going to push it because he knows that the minute he dropped that Reaver, it would take several siege tank shots and die. Forge no up for JangBi, no upgrades so far at this point, though.